Welcome back. We are continuing our factorization of quadratic expressions which contains the difference of two squares. So we continue looking at our example number C, where we have x squared over 4y squared minus 1 over 9. Okay, so when you look at the two terms, when you look at this term and this number here, you will see that the two expressions are perfect squares. You see that this is a perfect square and this is a perfect square. Now, as we have seen in the previous example, perfect squares are those numbers or terms which gives you whole numbers or natural numbers. So this is a perfect square. So we need to find its square root, like the square root of x squared over 4y squared. Now, this is the same as getting the square root of x squared and getting the square root of 4y squared, which will give us plus or minus. The square root of x squared is just x, and the square root of 4y squared is 2y. Because actually you multiply 2y by another 2y to get 4y squared. So the square root of 4y squared is 2y. So that's our 2y down there. Okay, so the square root of x squared over 4y squared is actually plus or minus x over 2y. Okay. Now, when you look at the other one also, the square root of 1 over 9 is the square root of 1 out of the square root of 9, which is positive or negative. The square root of 1 is 1, the square root of 9 is 3. So, the square root of 1 over 9 is plus or minus 1 over 3. The square root of x squared over 4y squared is plus or minus x over 2y. So, this is confirmation enough that the two expressions here, this one, this term, and this number, are perfect squares, because we are getting this whole number, which is like a whole number, this one, a whole number on top, and a whole number down here, and this is confirmation enough that these are perfect squares. And this is a square, a perfect square, and this is a perfect square, and we have a difference here. So this is a perfect square and another perfect square, and there's a difference. So the whole expression is a difference of two squares. So the whole expression is a difference of two squares. This is a perfect square, this is a perfect square, and there's a difference. So we are getting the difference between the two perfect squares, which we call the difference of two squares. Now, the way you factorize a difference of two squares, you always get two factors. The way you factorize a difference of two squares, you always get two factors. You always get two factors. Now, it's always common that one of the factors has a positive and another one has a negative between them. So now, one of the factors has a positive, another one has a negative. So now, what should be here? You can see this space here, the first space in the factors, each one of the factors. The first space will be occupied by the square roots of this first expression, this term here. So you can see the square root of this one is plus or minus x over 2y. Plus or minus x over 2y. But we shall just get the positive one, write it here, and we here, we are getting the square root of 1 over 9, which is plus or minus 1 over 3. So you write here 1 over 3, and here 1 over 3. So once you just do that, then you would have factorized that particular question. Thank you very much for your attention.